Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming a very prolific stuntman from the 70s and the 80s and the 60s. He played the Gorn in the original Star Trek series, very iconic guest villain, Bobby Clark. And I'm having him on the show today to talk about all the stunts he did for Star Trek. He also did stunts for those low-budget biker movies in the late 60s, like Hell's Angels on Wheels and Wild Wheels and Saint and Sadist and Angels Hard as They Come. And he also did stunts for movies like The Driver and Poltergeist. And his last one was Breathless, the Jim McBride, Richard Gere movie. And I'm going to talk to him about all that stuff, and I can't wait. It's going to be pretty cool. I was able to get in contact with him via his wife and have a phone conversation with him last week about doing this. So, here is my interview with Bobby Clark. Hey, Bobby, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine. Got a little bit of a cold, but I'll get over it.
Yeah, it's cold season. It's a reoccurring theme on the podcast.
So how are you?
I'm pretty spectacular.
That's good.
This is such an honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
No problem.
So,
I don't think I was doing it much anyway.
well, we'll just find out. So going back in time, when you were growing up, did you ever think that you would be in the film industry?
Good God, no. No, when I was growing up, I was a little different kind of a kid than the kids are, and the majority of people, even my age, are. I don't like to brag about it, but I'm glad I did it. When I was 13, I was self-supporting.
Mm-hmm.
I left home when I was 13 and figured I'd go out and get something done. Well, prior to that, when I was still pushing on 13 or 13, I had the offering of some people that they have a boy on the place or something, and a man thought that I'd like it there, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me up to a place in California called Susanville, and that's where I started my life up there. And I had worked down here a little bit on the farms and stuff, race horses and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I really started getting into a cowboy, which I'm proud to be.
Yeah, where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in Chicago, Illinois.
Nice. My grandparents, they were from Chicago. My dad was the first son to be born in California.
My dad was, too.
Yeah.
My dad was the first Hungarian in our family to be born in California. Yes, sir.
Nice. Were you an athlete growing up?
Then, no, I was just trying to figure out how to live. I became more athletic after I got out of the service. I went into the Navy in 1953.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 4 years aboard the USS Yorktown in the Pacific. And I'd seen part of the Korean stuff, and I was discharged in 57. And I just did everything I could do, or everything I thought I could do was on the ship. But I still had my own head on my shoulders, so to speak. I had little in and outs with the Navy a little bit because, well, I was 13 when I ran away, and I was just almost 17 when I went in the United States Navy.
Nice.
And in all those years, I had always been kind of my own person.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went in the Navy, they started telling me, well, how do you do? Well, do this and do that. And, yeah, I'll do this and do that. So I went out and I did this and I did that. But I did this and I did that my way, and they didn't like it.
Yeah, I can relate.
So that was that. And my way was just as good, and I still think it was better.
Yeah.
I brought a paint roller onto the ship one time, and I got in a big bunch of trouble for that. That's when paint rollers first started coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I says, well, here, I got a paint roller. I can paint this compartment in shit, half hour.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't want me painting it in a half hour. They wanted me to paint it in 4 hours. So
oh, my God.
that was my little friction with the Navy. But I got out in 1957, and I thought I was all done with horses and stuff like that. But I wound up back with them, and then I started rodeo, and then I had a tree business, and I worked for the city, and that's when I started the athletic stuff. In school, yes, I was a gymnast in school, but I just worked at that. So that's when I first started getting interested in the studio business. When I couldn't be a salesman and I couldn't be an employee or stuff like that, and then I got a job trimming trees for the city of Los Angeles or the Rec and Parks of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That's where I started really getting into it. And then I rodeoed on the weekends and sometimes during the week and stuff like that.
Yeah. So how did you get into the movie business?
Well, I was rodeoing and having a good time. I really lived it up. But it wasn't financially what I would have preferred. So I knew a lot of the guys because of being in the rodeo and business like that, and they were all cowboys. And they figured, well, I'm a cowboy. I'll go down and see if I can't get a job working in the motion picture business. So I went to the casting offices because I had to belong to the union in order to work for the studios. Mm-hmm. So I went to the casting offices and I talked to the casting offices here in the LA area, which at that time there was only 5. There was 4. There was Hollywood Casting, Independent Casting, Central Casting, and there's one more. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, then finally they say, well, yeah, that's great. We'll give you a union card, but you got to get a job first. And I said, oh, well, that's all right. So I talked to my buddies, and they all said, well, they can't get me a job. I got to get a job. So then it became a catch-22. I couldn't join the extra casting because I did have a job. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get a job because I didn't belong to Central Casting, the casting offices. So it went on and on and on and on, and finally I got in, and then I started working extra.
Wow.
And that's where I started learning to better myself, I want to think, because anybody could ride a horse and everything, but there was no talking or anything, and we were making minimum wage then, so I decided I'd start doing stunt work, and then I went and did stunt work and started doing that, and got my name out a little bit and got known a little bit, and I get more and more jobs and stuff like that, and worked in all the westerns that was ever on TV.
Yep.
Didn't do much movies. I did some features, but not much.
Yeah.
And just worked my way up, stuntman, and then I became about a quarter of a director because I was doing a little bit of second unit work there, and just kept doing that. That was my whole career then. Kept going and going and going.
Yeah. Did you do uncredited stunts on 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Well, I didn't do them in the picture. Mm-hmm. I worked on the exploratory 2001, in an old barn in Hollywood, and I was there with some special effects guys, and had the wires hooked up for me. And I simulated spacewalk and floating and stuff like that. And that's what I did for 2001. It was just a few days' work is all.
Yeah. Did you get to interact with Stanley Kubrick?
No. The assistants were there. I think he might have came on the set, but I never got personal with anybody in the business for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So, as everyone knows, you were the Gorn on the original Star Trek series. How did you get so lucky there?
I got lucky there because, again, see, I was a stuntman,
mm-hmm.
and a director. I just lost his name. I'll think of it in a little bit.
Joseph Pevney?
I had known. I beg your pardon?
Joseph Pevney?
Joseph Pevney, yes.
Yeah.
And I had done some work for him on other shows. And when he got this show here, he hired me to come and check in with Desi Lou. And there was another guy that came in there too. His name was Gary Combs.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both Gorns, but it turned out to be that one was Gary was there and I was there, and I got the jobs I was the man. So that's how I became that, was because of Joe Pevney.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it was very hot in that costume.
Very, yeah. It was, although it was in November that we did the show in California. November is just like, summer almost, not quite as hot, but yeah, I'll guarantee you I didn't have to wear a coat.
Yeah. What was it made of?
It was made out of a rubber. I know the name of that too, and I can't think of it. The same thing that divers' wetsuits are made out of.
Rubber?
Neoprene.
Oh, neoprene.
It was a neoprene diver's wetsuit was the base of it. And artist named Hua Chang, God rest his soul, made the costume. He made several, and Mr. Roddenberry decided that this was the one he wanted, and I went from there.
Mm-hmm. What was Gene Roddenberry
and I became
like?
the Gorn, and I did 3 other Star Treks.
Right.
For Desi Lou, the original series, and that was called Return of the Archons, The Apple, and Mirror Mirror. So I did 4 Star Trek episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end of my sci-fi end of it.
Yeah. The show was brand new at the time. Does the longevity and massive success of Star Trek just amaze you?
Oh, God. I'm still amazed. I still do conventions.
Yeah.
And I'm still the Gorn, and I still go out and sign autographs for people at these conventions. And God bless the fans, because without them, I'd be at home cleaning up horse poop.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenon.
I still do, by the way.
Yeah. It's a phenomenon that won't die, and it's the gift that keeps on giving to everyone involved.
Oh, God bless the fans. They're the people that make this show. I've talked to some people and say they look at the Gorn, and even the producers and people who run the sci-fi shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a feeling that, all right, so I'm not a well-known movie star. I'm not a Clint Eastwood. I've worked with Clint.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I don't have the actor's part of it.
Yeah.
And it still feels good to go to a convention and see all the people and have them recognized. I guess I'm kind of a come and watch me hog, I guess you'd call me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do that much anymore, but when I trim trees, I always liked it when people would stop and they'd look up in the tree and say, Jesus, look at what that guy's doing. He's hanging from a rope way up there in that tree, you know?
Yeah.
And it always had a little, this is something not everybody is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
yeah.
being the Gorn, being the only Gorn there is, well, I did something that, nobody else was doing except for Gary.
Yeah. I see you did a lot of stunts for those classic low-budget biker movies like Hell's Angels on Wheels, the Rebel Rousers.
I worked on some of those. I raced motorcycles for a while, and
yeah,
I belonged to a motorcycle club that the motion picture stuntmen and people in the motion picture business got together. There's a lot of them. There's some up were directors and some were other people, but most of them were actors and stuntmen. It was called the Viewfinders Motorcycle Club, and we had big races every once in a while. And yeah, I rode a lot of motorcycles. I rode on the street, and I rode in the desert. So yes, I did a lot of those.
Yeah. Did you ever get hurt doing those stunts?
No, not hurt. Excuse me a minute. No, I never got hurt, but yeah, I've gotten some raspberries and sore shoulders and sore hips and sore back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I was paid for.
Mm-hmm. Did you at that club? Did you see like Tony Epper and Dar Robinson and those guys?
Oh, I knew Dar very well, and I know all the Eppers all the way back to their dad, Gary, Johnny Epper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was in that early group.
Yeah.
And then the association split up, and some of them went to an outfit called Stunts Unlimited, and that's where Gary Epper went. A lot of them went there, but now there's a lot of them out there. But unfortunately, to say that there's a lot of them that aren't working just for the fact that these darn computers have come in and picked people out of the air.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Do you agree?
I don't do that anymore, so I'm happy just going to see the people in the conventions.
Yeah. Do you think that the stunt people should be recognized by the Academy?
Oh, they're getting recognized. They're getting recognized. You see some of these shows that we see, and oh God, they're just credit after credit of stunt guys. It says stunt players.
Yeah. And
sometimes they got three rows of them. Well, when I was in the business, stunt guys didn't get any of the credits.
Yeah. It was a.
Oh, there's a ton of stuff out there that I've never seen my name on, but once in a while I'll see my name come up on something.
Yeah. It mostly became, the movies and stuff that the TV shows really never credited the stuntmen, I noticed.
Yeah, they didn't used to do it, no.
Yeah, that's sad.
The actors, they like to have people think that they did what they did.
Yeah.
They like the people to think that they did what we did. That's how that sounds.
Yeah, and some of them did do their own stunts too.
Oh yes, a lot of them tried to do their own stunt. Bob Conrad was one.
Yeah.
And he did his, and then he hurt himself very bad, and they more or less shut down that show.
Yeah.
And a lot of them do that, and they get hurt, and things happen. Even to the stuntmen, a lot of them get hurt.
Yeah.
Of course, the stunts have gotten so so hilarious now. I mean, that's just not hilarious, but whatever the word is, that you know, they're doing more and more. Like a lot of this car stuff now is done on a computer, but there's still some guys out there that are doing it.
Oh yeah.
God bless them.
Yep. I noticed you worked on Lancer. That show was kind of forgotten for like decades, and then Quentin Tarantino brought it back in his new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Are you glad he's brought it back to the public consciousness?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. I saw the movie, and they left out, you know, a lot about a stuntman. They had a glorified actor who was a good actor, by the way. I mean, Brad Pitt is. Yeah. I wish I could act as good as he could, but I think I can holler ouch more than he can, though.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
The Hollywood movie, I saw it, and it was a little entertaining, and I had a lot of laughs at it, but that's about where it went.
Yeah. Was it pretty accurate, you think?
No, I don't think so.
It wasn't the Hollywood you knew in 1969?
No, the bit about the Spawn Ranch and
that wasn't accurate.
And those people that
yeah,
you know, I've been to the Spawn Ranch in those days, and yeah, they were there, but you know, I didn't, you know, that's. I guess I'm a strange person because all those people there, I could care less about all of those people there.
Of course.
But it was an all right movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, this is for I don't want to say this, and I hope you put it out kind of not quite as bad as I'm making it sound, but you know, people are people, and they're always interested, and they always want to look and see, and what they do is their business. I'm there to do mine, and I do it, and I get away from there.
That's a good policy to have, I have to say.
Yeah, I knew the Spawn boys. There's oh God, I forgot his name too, but one of them used to be a wrangler on the pictures in the studios. Mm-hmm. And they did have a little town up there like Corriganville, but it wasn't as big as Corriganville.
Mm-hmm. Did you do stunts on the movie Black Sunday?
Yes, I did.
That's a great movie. It's a scary movie.
I was in Miami, Florida, in the football field, the Orange Bowl, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yes, I did stunts on that. We did a lot of stunts in that picture. Going over the railings when the blimp was coming down, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a scary movie because it was pre 9/11, you know.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yeah, Bruce Dern, I believe it was a star in that, wasn't he, or was he?
Yeah, he was the main.
Yeah, he was the guy who was
villain.
He's the guy that put all the stuff into the blimp.
Yeah, and Robert Shaw.
He was going to blow up the ball field.
Yeah, Robert Shaw was the guy that tried to stop him.
Right.
John Frankenheimer directed it.
Yes, Frankenheimer was one great director. Mm-hmm. I did a few shows with him. I can't remember the name of all of them, but I did some of Frankenheimer's stuff.
You worked on the very underrated Walter Hill film, The Driver.
Yes, I did.
Any great stories about that one?
Well, I doubled. No, not actually. It kind of speaks for itself. Yeah. I did a lot of stunts on The Driver. No, The Driver was not. I'm thinking of a different one. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. The Driver was what's his name? He's
Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah. Yes, I did some work on that. police car driver and did some police work on it, did some stunts on it. Then when they started wrecking the cars down there in the parking lot, I was in there, in the car behind O'Neill. But see, that was not O'Neill driving that car either. That was a very, very good stuntman. His name was Everett Creech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's very interesting. You know.
And then there was the other one called The Car. And I worked on that. And I was also a cop and stuff like that.
You were
and then I did one called The Dark.
Yes, The Dark. You were
and a nice. Well, I knew Bud Cardos, and that was more or less my era of doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then I got into Gunsmoke, and I was on that forever.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other westerns too. Come to think of it.
Yeah, a lot of westerns in those days. Yeah, you were stunt coordinator on The Dark. Did you get to work with Toby Hooper before he got replaced?
Well, I was there at the start of it. I think so, but I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's not my position.
Right.
When I got a job, I stayed away from the producers,
mm-hmm.
and I stayed away from the directors. And, however, Gene Roddenberry, well, he was. I didn't see Gene Roddenberry a whole lot. Gene was a hell of a nice guy, a great guy, and his kid, who is known as Rod, that's short for Roddenberry.
Right.
It's just, you know, and there's a few like that I got to know, but it's a different kind of knowing people like Gene Roddenberry and Frankenheimer and all these other directors that directed some of the other stuff, like One Adam 12 and the fire station boys. I just went in, I did my work, and I went home.
Yeah.
I didn't socialize a whole lot with everybody. However, I knew them all, and when we were working together, it was fun. But when that rap noise came out, I was gone.
Yeah, you were all anxious to go home.
Well, I was, you know.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, there it was. See, I didn't. Where they went, I don't know where they went. I know where a lot of them went. I'd go and visit some of the bars too, but I still got home.
Yeah. So what particular stunts did you do on Poltergeist?
I was in one of the big scenes when everything started happening on Poltergeist. I was one of the people that lived in the village in Simi Valley when the house started coming apart and the swimming pool was blowing up and stuff was, you know, graves were coming up out of the ground, and you know that I was in all that action.
Yeah,
I was the actor that came running out of the house with his family, his wife and his kid, pulling up my pants, and my dialogue was, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
And then I got a big explosion came, so. And that was it. That was my shot on the Poltergeist.
Yeah, that's a cursed franchise, that movie. I never see it represented at conventions. I think so many people are afraid to go near it.
Oh, it was a great movie. And naturally, I can't think of his name, the director.
That's Toby Hooper again.
No, the other director that directed it.
Spielberg.
I couldn't think of his name. Anyway, Spielberg was he was good. He was good.
Yeah, I've heard he's a great guy. And then the last movie you did was Breathless, the Jim McBride movie.
What was that name?
Breathless.
It might have had another name on it.
Yeah, Richard Gere. He was the star
Yeah,
of it.
Richard Gere. I'm trying to think of Richard Gere. Yeah. Breathless, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah, Breathless.
Yes. No, I did not work on Breathless.
Oh, okay. That was just
No, I did not work on that. I got as cold as doing something to my ear.
That's one of those IMDb flubbers because they're never inaccurate. They're never accurate.
Oh, no, that's that. I went to IMDb a long time ago, and shit, pardon me, they got me doing stuff that I never even heard of.
Yeah.
And they didn't have me doing stuff that I did do. So I just, let them go, let them do their thing. I wrote them a letter about some of it.
Oh, that's good.
I just let them do their thing, and I do mine.
Yeah. So why did you give up the business again?
Well, number one, I went from a walk-on to riding horses to wrecking motorcycles to doing high falls to crashing cars, being a cop, and then after that, things started settling down, and the westerns were going out, and the TV westerns were going out. And I was working here and there a little bit. And then finally, well, I had a little health problem, and I says, I might as well just kind of hang it up and do that. So we were in Bishop, California. I did a few up in Bishop down here. I traveled from Bishop to come back here and do a few, but it got less and less, and I started liking the thing, so I finally went and pulled the plug. Mm-hmm. But now that doesn't mean I quit the business. That just means I quit going out looking for jobs in the business.
Right.
I mean, I'm kind of a senior. Most of the old good guys and stuff. Well, I can't say good guys, but most of the people that I worked for and worked with, God bless them, a lot of them are gone now.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just one of the hanger-oners. There's a few that are still there. There's a couple in their 90s that are still working.
Yep.
God bless them. But they aren't working much there. They're all retired, too, by now.
Yeah, all the particular stunt performers I've talked to, they all hung it up when they were like 40 or 50. But a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed this one stuntman named Dickie Beer, who's in his 60s. And he told me he wants to die doing a stunt. He never wants to retire. And I said to him, would you be happy if you worked a 12-hour day shift and then you went home and died in your sleep? And he said, absolutely.
To die in your sleep would be a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, would be a blessing. But I don't know. I don't think about dying, and I don't think about quitting the business. But I'm not going to be falling downstairs anymore. And I might do a 2-punch fight or something like that. Mm-hmm. I might fall over a table or, run into a door or something. But, I'm not going to roll a car. I'm not going to crash a bike. And I'm not going to do that stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. I just kind of sit back and think about it. I still talk to some of my friends now and then.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So January 31st and February 1st, you'll be at the Hollywood show in Burbank at the Marriott. Have you done this show before?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I used to do it when another guy had it, too. It was called, it was his name. I forget what the heck it was. But, I've done shows with Dave is his name. Mm-hmm. And then I have a show coming up in, I guess it's April. And that'll be in Anaheim. It'll be a convention. And it's called, as a matter of fact, it's the same people that put out Comic-Con in San Diego.
Right.
Well, they have one up in up in Anaheim. They call it WonderCon.
Yes.
That's the other one. WonderCon used to be in San Francisco.
Yeah. I remember.
At the big convention center there, but then they moved down to Anaheim, and I appear there periodically.
Yeah, Wizard World.
I'll be there on the whole show in Anaheim this coming April.
Nice. Yeah, Wizard World is the guys who do the San Diego Comic-Con.
I did that years ago, and it was just too much people, and it's just too busy. It's just I don't want to be around that type of busyness. Although I love the fans. I mean, if I had a booth and they'd pay me to come up there to greet and meet people, I'd love it. But to sit there at a table and signing autographs, I love that too. But it's just too repetitious, and it's a long show.
Yeah.
It's just too many days, and everything in San Diego is very expensive, and my wife and I, we don't go to that too often.
Yeah,
too often. I don't go, period.
Yeah, did you go to Star Trek conventions back in the 70s?
No, not in the 70s I didn't. I started my convention tours in the year 2000.
Oh, okay.
Because people, it was a story in itself, just how I started doing the conventions. That's my son's fault that I started doing conventions. God rest him. Yeah, he told me I should be doing that. I should be doing that. I said, what for? What for? What for? And then finally one time I said, well, yeah, all right, I'll start doing them. And I had my first convention in Pasadena at a thing called the Grand Slam from Creation Entertainment. Mm-hmm. And from then on, I've been very, very lucky to come and say hi to these people.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Oh, I love them. I love them all. I take pictures with them, I joke with them, and I listen to their jokes.
Yeah.
It's just nice. It's nice.
Yeah, it can be really nice at times. The horror convention scene is just insane now. You can barely interact with the people at those signings, I'll tell you.
Yeah. A lot of masks, though. I did, the Dark. You remember the Dark. You mentioned that. Yeah.
Yes.
I was the stunt coordinator on that, and we had some good times. And I run across people now and then and say, didn't you work on the Dark? Yeah, I worked on the Dark. The Dark. Yeah, the Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was John. Somebody was the creature on that.
Have you done any conventions in Sacramento or the Bay Area?
Yes, I did a few up in. What did I do? I did a couple in Sacramento, and then I did some out at the Air Base, just outside of there, the U.S. Air Force Base. Mm-hmm. I can't think of those. Yeah, I've done a few up there. Not a lot, though. I keep looking to go up there, but I don't get calls, and like I say, I don't call around and do that. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I don't. I did one last year in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
that was a nice show.
Nice. Well, the next time you do get to do one in the Bay Area or Sacramento, I'll come down. Since I'm in Redding.
Oh, you're from Redding? That's right. You are up there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You live in Redding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some property up there in Cottonwood, right outside Anderson.
Mm-hmm. I remember you mentioned that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a late bloomer going to conventions, and so yeah, next time you're down there, I'll come check you out.
Well, please do. I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
I'd like to meet you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on today, Bobby. This was a great honor. Thank you so much.
Well, you're sure welcome, and tell all the fans I love them, and I'll see them then. I got one other question, one other thing I'm going to say. I got a Christmas card from a guy named Kristen Boba, and he lives in he's in Toronto, Ontario, and he sent me a Christmas card. I don't remember the man, and he applauded me so much on his card. I sent him a little card. I got it right here in my hand. I'm going to mail it to him, and it's a thank you from him to me.
Oh.
To him from me.
Oh, that's just...
Anyway, I do appreciate you and your show and doing what you did. I hope I was entertaining enough to the people, and maybe they'll come and see me too.
You were wonderful, Bobby. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Well, you're sure welcome. I'm working on that too.
Okay.
All righty?
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Bobby Clark. Ain't he a cool dude? Oh, God. I love self-made mavericks because I'm a self-made maverick. And I love people who do their own thing. Oh, my God. That is just so awesome. And I hope I get to meet him in the future. The Gorn lives on. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes!